Today I'm trying 3 easy dinner ideas from the 1990s. And the recipes I chose today came from Easy Weeknight Meals. This was published in 1992. I think we can all appreciate some easy dinner ideas because all of us need to eat dinner, right? It can be challenging to know what to make for dinner, especially on a weeknight. You know, you're busy with work, you're busy with activities. If you have kids, I'm sure, that figures into it as well. You have to manage their activities possibly. For me anyway, knowing what I'm going to make for dinner beforehand, it really kind of like eases a lot of anxiety for me, I guess. So hopefully you find some of these useful. I decided to try a recipe for something called Mexican bean bake. And there's Bisquick in this recipe. Really has me intrigued because, I know my way around a Bisquick Impossible Pie, but this just seems different. It has the baking mix in there, but it also has some ingredients that make me think this is not really like an Impossible Pie, so we'll see. This recipe starts with 1 cup of Bisquick baking mix, 1/4 cup of salsa. This salsa smells incredible to me right now. Like, I don't know, am I like salsa deficient or something? Also, I probably am just hungry. 1 can, 16 ounces. Whoa, there's bean juice flying. I got too enthusiastic. So a 1-pound can of just refried beans. I'm like, are the beans gonna combine with the baking mix to make like a crust? I don't know. This recipe is a bit of a mystery to me and I'm excited about it. And finally, I have a 4-ounce can of diced green chilies, undrained. You do not drain these, you want the liquid in there. And I'm using mild green chilies and mild salsa. I'm really trying to use up some things that are in my pantry. All of this was in my pantry. You can adjust the spice level as you want. Now we mix, and I'm going spatula. We're starting with spatula. I think it's gonna be okay. Whenever I do a Bisquick video, everybody seems to really like it. So here's another Bisquick recipe to add to your repertoire, but if it's good. If it's good, I'm gonna let you know. I always try to let you know what I think. Oh, okay, yeah, I thought maybe this would be very hard to mix. It's not. Just a little bit more. I wanna make sure I'm getting everything from the bottom of the bowl. Okay, it's like fluffy almost. I think that's well mixed. Let's just show you what that looks like. Very nice. I thought it was gonna be like thicker, heavier. I need to spread this mixture into a greased 8x8 pan, which I have at the ready. I just have a good feeling about this. Also, again, I'm probably hungry. So I'm just gonna smooth that out in my greased baking dish. One of the things I really like about this little book, it seems like the recipes make kind of a manageable quantity of food. This is supposed to be 4 servings. You might be able to get more out of it. I don't know, we'll see. Manageable for me. I have, 2 people that live in this house. That's where we're at right now. Top with 3/4 cup of salsa. So I have more mild salsa. I'm gonna pour on and then kind of smooth. I'm not gonna tip it too much. I don't want my salsa to run away. Almost done assembling this. I have 3 ounces of shredded cheddar cheese. And before you decide to argue with me and tell me this is more than 3 ounces, I weighed this on a kitchen scale. Before I shredded it, I just shred it really fine, so it probably looks like a little bit more. Some people really like to argue with me about cheese. It's fine, whatever your hobby is. Put that in your LinkedIn profile. I like to start cheese arguments on the internet. It's fine. I'm just having a little chuckle. So I've got this topped with my cheddar cheese. Now I have to bake this for 30 minutes in a 375-degree oven. This smells incredible. Also, to reiterate, I am hungry, so maybe that has something to do with it. But it just really makes me think like warm, cozy dinner time kind of thing. It's a little dreary out today. It is raining. I feel like fall is on its way. So I baked it for 30 minutes and I let it sit for, between 5 and 10 minutes. You're supposed to let it sit for at least 5. I think I'm just gonna scoop it. You may be able to cut it into squares, but right now it's still very hot. I just want to try a little bit. Yeah, it's coming out of the pan pretty cleanly. Let me show you. I gotta put on my gloves, my hand protection. It's still hot. But yeah, because you greased it, it just, I think it did a good job coming out, right? Okay, I want to try this. So there's my little My little tiny plate. It's so hot. Okay, I gotta find a good spot where I'm not gonna burn my mouth. Okay, that's very interesting. That's very good. You can put lettuce and tomatoes and sour cream on top of this. I wanted a bite just kind of by itself. I think I'm gonna put some sour cream on it to see, but first initial thoughts are positive. Put a tiny little dollop, oops, sour cream on here if you can see it. I don't know. That tastes really good. Oh my, I like that a lot. I personally think that I would probably go spicy on the chilies, or like medium spice on the chilies and on the salsa. I'm using stuff from my pantry, so if I made this again, I would probably go a little bit zestier. It's like a soft, fluffy kind of texture. It's very interesting. It's not quite like any kind of like Bisquick Impossible Pie or dish that I've had, but it's really good, super warm, very, very much comfort food. I hadn't originally planned to start filming this video today, but I am making a green salad with walnuts, which means I am making a salad dressing. And salad dressings typically do better if you can make them ahead of time and let them chill out in the fridge for at least a few hours or overnight, which is what I'm gonna do. I think it'll be even better overnight. So let's go. I've placed in a small jar 1/4 cup of mayonnaise. It says you can use mayonnaise or salad dressing. I usually don't have like Miracle Whip or salad dressing, pretty much almost always mayonnaise. Next we have 3 tablespoons of half and half that I'm gonna add to that jar. We have our spices. It says 1/2 to 1 teaspoon of dry mustard. That's not dry mustard, that's garlic powder. This is dry mustard, and I used 1/2 teaspoon just because I wasn't really sure. We'll see. So now I'm gonna put 1/4 teaspoon of garlic powder in the jar, along with 1/4 teaspoon of salt. And yes, I know I can shake it, but I think I wanna whisk it just a little bit first because that mayonnaise is pretty thick. Okay, I've broken up the mayonnaise. It smells garlicky. Okay, now I think I'm gonna shake a little bit. So I have a jar. These are the like leak-proof lids for ball jars. I think you can get them on Amazon, or I bought mine at Meijer. But I'll link them in the description down below if you want to check them out. So I'm gonna shake just a little bit. Okay. Looking underneath. Let's take a look. So that is where we're at so far. So now I'm just gonna pop this in the fridge and let it stay there until I'm ready to assemble this salad. A day has passed and I am ready to assemble my salad. So I have some green leaf lettuce in a bowl here. I'm just gonna make enough for myself. I'm not gonna make the entire 6 cups of salad. And I have my dressing from yesterday, and it is very liquid. I was wondering how thick it would be. So I'm gonna start by spooning a little bit of this dressing onto my lettuce. Ooh, it smells nice and garlicky. I'm just gonna toss that a bit. I think that's about right for me. Not too much, not too little. And next I have some coarsely chopped walnuts that go right on top of this. And finally, some freshly ground pepper. I haven't even tasted this and I already have thoughts about what else I could do here, but you know I'm gonna taste it as is first. I have my nice little green salad here, and it is called green salad with creamy mustard dressing. Okay, I'm gonna try it and give you my initial thoughts here. I can get some walnuts. There we go. I don't really taste a lot of mustard in the dressing. I had like different expectations for the salad dressing in this. I thought it was gonna be like more mustardy, but really it's kind of like more of a creamy garlic taste. It tastes very good. It is a good dressing, but maybe that just means I need to put more mustard in it. You could put between 1/2 teaspoon and a teaspoon, I believe, and I went on the side of less, I guess, just because I didn't know, I'd never made this, but the dressing is tasty. It's just not mustardy. I like that dressing. So a couple of thoughts for additions. I actually like this the way it is, just kind of like as a side dish to accompany other main dishes. I would like to possibly add Granny Smith apple to it. I think it could be really good. Also, if you wanted to make this more of a main dish, because maybe you're thinking like, this is not enough, like this is not gonna be a main dish. I already knew that. I wanted to make a salad that could kind of like go with other meals or be made into a main dish by adding maybe like a protein. And for this one, I really wanna add a salmon fillet. I think it would be so, so good. I think you could do grilled chicken as well. Or, you know, even if you want to do like a steak salad, this could be really, really tasty. But I think salmon fillet, for some reason, is just like calling my name on this salad. I don't know. But I really do like that dressing. It's so simple. I don't even know that I would bother with adding the additional mustard. I probably just would call it something else, like creamy garlic dressing instead of creamy mustard dressing. Next up, I have this herbed tuna and spaghetti. And I know there are some folks that don't really like tuna, but the good news is if you really want to try this, just substitute canned chicken and you'll be fine. Let's see if I can swivel yet. I've got a little bit of pasta going over here. I've got 3.5 ounces of spaghetti cooking. I am cutting this recipe in half. So while that's cooking, I need to heat my half and half. So about 3 ounces of half and half and a couple tablespoons of butter. Whoa. Incoming herbs, I have some basil. I think that's like half a teaspoon. I have 1/8 of a teaspoon of dry oregano. You can also use fresh herbs. I don't have fresh herbs right now, but I will include the full recipe in the description down below. I just noticed there's like a piece of butter right here, so we're gonna just fix that right away. And I will include the amounts for both dried and fresh herbs. And then I have a little bit of garlic powder. And now I need to heat that until it is almost boiling. Didn't take very long at all, actually. So now I have to stir in my tuna and a couple tablespoons of Parmesan cheese. And then I have 1/4 of a cup of pimento stuffed olives. I'm on an olive kick lately. So I need to stir that all together. See, this is a very fast one too. I'm kind of loving these easy and fast dinner ideas. Might flake that tuna apart a little bit more with a fork. You're supposed to bring this to a boil and let it boil for 1 minute. I have my sauce already and you're supposed to just like serve it over the spaghetti, but I think I want to mix it. So I'm going in this direction so I have a little bit more space for mixing. Did I not get a spatula? What's wrong with me? Okay. This is kind of giving me like a little bit of a like tuna tetrazzini vibe, I guess. Like a stovetop casserole. I'm just gonna mix this, let it heat up a little bit more, and I'll give it a taste. Okay, look. Also, can we appreciate this teeny little casserole dish? I wanted to put it in here because I think it looks really good in this particular dish. I believe that heating this up and mixing it with the spaghetti is kind of the way to go for me anyway. I'm the only person who's gonna eat this. So I'll probably end up freezing it. And I think freezing it as like one casserole type thing is gonna be better than if I had tried to do it with just like the sauce as a separate thing. Pretty excited to try it though. I like all of these things. I like tuna, I like olives. But like I said, if you really wanna try this, go ahead and just try it with some canned chicken. On the top, I did sprinkle a little additional Parmesan cheese and I sliced up a green olive just for the thumbnail photo. That is so much better than I even thought it would be. Okay, thoughts. I can really taste the herbs. I was afraid it wasn't gonna be salty enough for me, and it's fine. It does have Parmesan cheese in it, which is very salty. The olives are kind of briny and salty, but it didn't have any additional salt or anything in it. Another warm, comforting kind of dish. This is pretty much all pantry and fridge items. I think the only thing I ended up buying for this that I didn't already have was some half and half. I would also say, don't cook your spaghetti too much. Like, don't overcook it. I did it on, you know, the lower side of the time, and it's absolutely perfect. It's just the way I want it. If you like casseroles and if you like tuna, I would say give this one a try. Betty Crocker's Easy Weeknight Meals was published in 1992, October of 1992, in fact. This is one of those little booklets that you could buy at a grocery store checkout. I believe you could also subscribe to these and have them sent to your home. That's how I know that this was published in October. So October of 1992, that would have made me 11 years old when this came out. And I just have so many nostalgic feelings for these types of booklets, especially around like the late 80s, early 90s, because this would have been something that my mom would have picked up maybe at the grocery store. She didn't get a lot of these, but on occasion, if she saw one that kind of caught her eye and thought, you know, that looks like it could give me some good inspiration, some good ideas, she would grab it and make some of the recipes. So the cover has hearty burger soup on it, and it's supposed to be made in 20 minutes. A 20-minute dinner, who can say no to that? One of the things I really like about many of the recipes that I saw in here, including the ones that I made for this video, is that you can make them from pantry items mostly. Things that maybe you've stocked up on, maybe you have on hand, you know, possibly, especially for like the salad, you might have to add some fresh things. There's nothing very fancy at all about any of these recipes, as you could plainly see. They're just good, they're just easy to make, and they don't take a lot of time. The back cover looks like this. It says Monday through Friday, cooking for today. Today being the early 90s, right? Kind of reads like a magazine. You have the editor, the nutritionist, and the creative director here. Kathy Swanson, Elise Cohen, and Kathleen Horton. I seriously doubt any of them will ever see this video, but if this is you, if you're watching and you are one of these people, I would love it if you would comment. Lots and lots of photos of the food in here. Let me start by seeing if any of the things I made have photographs. I don't think so. Nope, I lied. The salad, I didn't show it to you as I was making it, but this is the salad. In addition to all of the recipes, there are these little Post-it note looking things that offer some additional tips on how to get dinner on the table quickly, or how to sort of like get inspired and have some new ideas. This one says, too tired to cook? Baked potato supper. I couldn't agree more. I love a baked potato. Leftovers become a new tasty main dish when served over a baked potato. Fill a baked potato or microwaved potato with just about any warmed up leftovers such as chili, stew, stir-fried meat mixture, or vegetables and cheese sauce. Yes, I absolutely love baked potatoes. I've made a couple, at least one here on the channel, and I have a baked potato cookbook in my collection, so please watch out for some more baked potato recipes, probably coming when the temperatures drop and it gets really cold. And baked potato with toppings, like that was one of my favorite school lunches, because we would occasionally, at least once a month probably, have like a baked potato day, and you could either choose a baked potato with taco meat on top or broccoli and cheese. If you didn't like either of those things, remember, we're working with kids here. There's a very good possibility that neither of those things appealed. You could just get a baked potato with butter. And then some kids who were super brave, oh, the advanced palates of these like fellow classmates, they would get both broccoli and cheese and taco meat. I was a broccoli cheese gal. That was my favorite. I'm sure actually, like, thinking it through, broccoli and cheese and taco meat like does not sound bad to me, but it was a bold move when you were like 8 years old. The different chapters in this book, they consist of 30 minutes or less, so those are really fast recipes. Quick from the cupboard, so pantry recipes. Jazzed up deli fare, so things that you buy at a grocery store deli and then kind of like add to or jazz up. And carefree entertaining, so, you know, just because it's a weeknight doesn't mean you can't entertain, right? So I kind of want to talk about the jazzed up deli fare, because I feel like during this time, I so remember seeing a lot about that kind of thing. Like in my mom's family circle and Women's Day magazines, or these booklets. I feel like that was a thing. And even I'm like vaguely remembering like being in the doctor's office and seeing a news show, like a morning news program where they always have other segments and stuff. And it's like how to jazz up whatever you buy at the deli. Like, wow. That's advanced, that's sophistication. We only had, you know, one grocery store mostly in our town. I think at one time we had two, but yeah. So we didn't have a lot of the super fancy selections that the people who were featured in these articles or news shows had. But, you know, I remember seeing a lot of things with rotisserie chicken, which I love a rotisserie chicken. I think that's a great shortcut. Or deli salads, or refrigerated pizza dough was kind of a big one. I was like, that is not something that, you know, we have it now. I can buy refrigerated pizza dough, but it was something else back then. Anyway, let's look at some photos, shall we? This one is peachy chicken, and it looks pretty good. Several of these photographs feature an entire menu. This menu is spinach salad, good start, quick peachy chicken, croissants, chocolate cake, and iced tea. Even though these are quick menus, I think that is many courses. You're probably getting a peachy chicken and a salad from me. The very middle of the cookbook, we have some fantastic looking carrots and corn. Oh, we also have, I forgot to mention, we have this order form. I love it when I get books like this that have these little order forms in them. So you could fill this out and send this in to purchase a gift subscription for yourself or someone else. You got a little discount. You got you could save 20%. You would get one of these books every month. Because this is like a weeknight themed book, it has like across the top of many of the pages, it's like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Has that little border. Ooh, so this is the quick from the cupboard chapter of the book. And what do we have here? We have cheese pie. I actually considered making that. It's kind of like it looked like sort of an impossible pie-esque thing or a quiche. And then mixed vegetable medley. Honestly, that looks wonderful. What's this one? Salmon burgers. So I thought this was kind of interesting. I looked at this one too. I love salmon. I usually prefer more of a like salmon fillet. I'm very fancy, as you know. But this is kind of like a salmon patty. We had salmon patties growing up, but usually it was just like a patty that you would eat on its own with maybe a side dish or two, not as a sandwich. And I thought it was so interesting that they used an English muffin instead of like a sandwich bun. It could be good, but often like that's something that I see where I'm like, do people do that in real life? Maybe they do. I love a breakfast sandwich, so I usually save my English muffins for that. Ooh, quick bean rotini soup. That kind of looks a little bit minestrone-esque. What is this? We've got some ham, lots of different vegetables and tomatoes, dried thyme leaves, potatoes, kidney beans. That's a very delicious looking and hearty soup. I think that would fill you up, keep you warm. Lots of soups. We've got a beefy noodle soup here as well. Easy taco salad. Taco salad is good. And it's also one of those things I sometimes, kind of forget about. But maybe I need to make a taco salad. Chicken and vermicelli. We have another angel hair pasta dish. Sorry, I'm trying to avoid the glare, but turkey scallopini. Those look good, those cutlets. Beef and artichoke fettuccine. Those green noodles. It just says uncooked fettuccine. It doesn't say uncooked spinach fettuccine, which is funny because these are definitely green. Peach cobbler. Kind of looks like is it the same? No, I was gonna say, is this the same as that like peachy pudding bake that I made from Bisquick? It's not, surprisingly. Looks delicious though. Oh, blueberry crisp. I love having frozen blueberries in my freezer. Obviously they're frozen. I buy that giant bag at Costco. It's like 4 pounds for $10. Mix in the pan chocolate date cake. That looks good. And I do like dates. Is this one of the types of recipes where you don't necessarily notice they're in there? Maybe. Ooh, chocolate chip topping. I am making this. It looks good. Clever casserole toppers. There's a whole list. And if you know me, you know I love a casserole, and I love usually a buttery breadcrumb topping on a casserole. What are some other things? Okay, it says place cookie cutter on baked casserole, sprinkle crushed tortilla or potato chips inside cutter, and then remove the cutter. So that's how they're getting those shapes. What else do we have? Arrange cherry tomatoes or pickle slices in a flower design. Draw stems with ketchup or mustard. This is getting very creative. Considering these are easy weeknight meals, they're really kind of going for it to jazz things up a little bit. I don't know if my easy weeknight meals would make it to that level of garnish, maybe. Place fish-shaped crackers on a tuna or salmon casserole. That's cute. That's clever. Create fun vegetable trees with carrot stick trunks and broccoli floret tops. Or just skip the carrots and make little broccoli trees, because they already kind of look like trees. Oh, we have a couple of recipes here that have been submitted by readers. Quick seafood stroganoff from Chris Batchelor, an easy hamburger pie from Florence Benjamin. That's neat. Okay, so this back section is very good. Very, very good. That is a portrait, the portrait of Betty Crocker that they had at the time. This was 92. I believe this one was like from the mid to late 80s. And in 95, that's when they combined a whole lot of photos from women around the country, and they came up with the current portrait of Betty Crocker that we see today. So that's why that portrait looks like that. But this is an introductory offer for kitchen cutlery. There's more booklets that you could purchase or subscribe to. Honestly, some of my favorite things about booklets like this is like the back section, which normally I would just overlook. Like if I went and bought one of these booklets now, I probably wouldn't even think twice about it, but just being able to look back at some of those things is really interesting to me. Organize and protect your Betty Crocker creative recipes. They have little sort of boxes that you can keep a whole year's worth in. So let's talk about the recipes I made today. I started things off with a Mexican bean bake. Let me think, how can I describe this? It was fluffy. The end product was like a fluffy bean bake, kind of like a little bit bready. I personally really enjoyed it, and I know I'm not describing it very well. It probably sounds strange, but it was tasty. It smelled wonderful in the oven. The salsa, the beans, the cheese, like all baking in the oven. It made this really comforting, warm, like it's dinner time kind of smell. Ended up freezing the rest of it. I haven't had any of it from the freezer yet, so I'm not really sure, you know, how exactly it reheats. But the day that I had it for lunch, and I was very, very happy about it. And it was so easy to put together. Is this from like, yeah, this is the quick from the cupboard section, which is exactly what it is because it's like Bisquick, salsa I had in my pantry, refried beans, chopped chilies, that kind of thing. The fresh ingredients consisted mostly of toppings, so like lettuce, tomato, sour cream, or yogurt. It says you can use plain yogurt if you want. Very fast, super, super easy to throw together. And it only took 30 minutes to bake. So I would say all in, this probably took about 40 to 45 minutes from start to finish. The baking part, of course, is going to be mostly hands-off time as far as that particular dish goes, but that's when you could take some time to prepare a side dish if you wanted to. The serve with suggestions are green beans, tortillas, and baked caramel cream apples, which is like another recipe in this book. Holy cow. I don't know what that is. It sounds good though. I would say like you don't even really need the tortillas. It doesn't need to go into a tortilla. To me, it's kind of like a casserole that you would just eat. But yeah, definitely, you know, it would be great with a side of vegetables or a nice green salad or something like that. The second recipe I tried was the green salad with walnuts. And let me tell you, that dressing, it didn't have any business being as good as it was because it was so easy and I already had all that stuff. Creamy mustard dressing. It's more of a creamy garlic dressing to me. I'm sure if I like didn't put the mustard in, I probably would miss it, but really like the feature flavor to me was garlic. And heck, it was really good. I think it would be good on any number of salads. I pretty much made this salad as written in terms of like ingredients. It was a very good combination. Normally for salads, I like to go pecans, but the walnuts and this dressing were just so good together. This comes to us from the Carefree Entertaining section, but really I think that this particular salad dressing, it's easy and fast enough to make that you could do this for like, you don't have to be entertaining. You just like make this and then use it throughout the week. The salad was great as is, you know, something you could use as a side dish. But I think I mentioned a salmon fillet like would go so well with this. I really think that's like my top go-to thing that I would put with this. Grilled chicken, of course, always excellent on a salad. You could add more toppings to this if you wanted to, but I kind of like that it's very simple. I don't know, that dressing surprised me. I make a lot of my own salad dressings to begin with, but usually they're like more along the lines of a vinaigrette. This one, I thought, oh, is it gonna be flavorful enough? It doesn't have any like additional vinegar or anything in it. I know that mayonnaise does have vinegar in it. I thought maybe it would need more. It didn't. Make this recipe as written, I'm telling you. It was so good. And the final recipe I made was herbed tuna and spaghetti. It came from the 30 minutes or less section of the book. It was very fast. Tuna's not for everyone, I acknowledge that. If you're interested in making this dish, I would say go canned chicken if you're not a tuna person. Yeah, I had pretty much everything in my fridge or pantry for this recipe. The suggested way to serve it in here was to make the sauce and then serve it over the pasta. I ended up combining all of it and serving it that way. And I think to me, that was kind of the way to go, mostly because some of the sauce kind of absorbs into the pasta. And I had some of it for my lunch that day, and then I ended up freezing it. And I think just like freezing it with the spaghetti, it just worked better. As you could certainly keep them separate if you absolutely needed to. But for me, I think it was kind of like a stovetop tuna tetrazzini kind of casserole. I was not sure about it when I tasted the sauce. Like I tasted the sauce for some salt and pepper, like as is before I mixed it into the spaghetti. I was like, I don't know. But once I had everything combined, it ended up being perfect. Like it was a great flavor. You could probably add a little bit more salt and pepper if you wanted to. I ended up not doing that because it was seasoned well enough for me. I did end up, just because I wanted it to look nice for the thumbnail, I did end up putting a little more Parmesan cheese on top and then slicing a couple of additional olives. The suggested serve with items on this recipe are green beans, again, French bread, that would be good, garlic bread, and fruit-topped angel food cake. Yeah, I would say serve this with an additional vegetable. I think peas would also be good. I love like a tuna casserole with peas in it, or like something like this pasta with a side of peas I think would go really well. Another really fast recipe that turned out to be delicious to me. I hope you liked this video, and I hope it gave you some inspiration for your weeknight dinner menu. If you love cookbooks and recipes from Betty Crocker, I have an entire playlist and I'll link it in the description down below. I am on Patreon, so if you'd like to support me over there, I'll leave a link in the description so that you can do that. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.